1998, I got diagnosed by a very rare muscular disease, myotonic dystrophy, and it's a so-called not being healed sickness. No way, you know. I couldn't find a doctor who said, yeah, there might be a possibility. It just said, no way. You know, they saw that in my blood. I went there together with my sister because she had lots of symptoms already. So I was like, yeah, I just went with her. My father had the same disease. I mean, that's what they said after he passed away. And my sister had almost the same symptoms. So that's why she went to check on her blood genetically, you know. So, well, you get weak hands, then your whole body gets weak, and one day your heart might stop pumping. I was in perfect health, you know, but if I think back, I know that this still influenced me because I had it black on white, written, you know, so it's in the field. But emotionally, it didn't really touch me. I thought, well, yeah, I'm good, I'm sporty, I'm healthy, you know, I was happy, so. And then some 7 years ago, it started that I couldn't really move my hands very well anymore, just a little, you know, and I'm very conscious in my body. And I felt, ooh, there's a change going on. And, but I didn't really worry. But my sister had a lot more of these symptoms, and she got cancer, and she did the transition 6 years ago, and we were very close. So that was a big loss for me. And I realized after she passed away that my symptoms got very fast, very strong. You know, I felt weak in my legs. Yeah, I could just feel change in my life. I had some private issues, which made me very sad. I started to self-doubt a lot. I was down in energy for many months, you know, and I realized, but I didn't know how to get out of that. And some 3 years ago, I read the book You're the Placebo, and I went to Rosenheim for a weekend there. And what I heard there from Dr. Joe, I told my husband who accompanied me, I said, this is how I lived. This is how I created my life before as a kid, you know. I was connected, I felt connected to every plant, to every stone, to every human being. I always saw the jewel in every person. What I wanted to have in my life, it just came to my life, you know. So that was like a first statement for me, like, wow, somebody is talking about it. Somebody is really mentioning what it is about. But I didn't really get the point at that time that this is my chance. You know, it was more like, finally I find somebody who's in this. And then I had a really tough time 2 years ago, psychologically, emotionally. And I was ready to get divorced sometimes, you know. I had the thought inside of myself because my husband and I were really in a crisis, in a deep crisis. We always said we love each other, but we didn't see a way. And I was like in this vicious circle, you know. I had the same thoughts, I had the same stress, and it was awful. It was just, if I look back now, I was boring because my thoughts were always the same, and it, of course, put me down a lot. And then in Berlin, in January, I went to Berlin. I just knew I had to go there to the advanced follow-up. And there, it just made click, you know. It was really inside because I never ever believed the doctors who always told me, look, this cannot be healed. And they were always talking about the bad things, so I stopped going there. I said, this is not helpful. This doesn't change my life in a good way. And in Berlin, I just knew. Now it's really time you do the work, Christine. Because 3 years ago, you know, it was like, yeah, sure, but I wasn't disciplined at all, you know. And I didn't feel maybe you can say, I didn't feel the call to really do the work. And after Berlin, I just couldn't stop anymore. I just went for it, you know. I said, I'm going to go into that work. And I want it. So very often I get up at 3 or 4, you know, without putting an alarm. I just wake up, I'm totally awake, and I go up and I do the work. And there's been such a big change since then. Now here in Mallorca, already when I got here, I had such a good feeling. And then I got a healing, the first day we had a healing. While I was lying there, I think it was the first time I could really surrender and feel worthy to receive. And I was ready to go into this love energy. And after that, I went for dinner with my friend. I told her, you know, this is so strange. When I walk, I feel like wobbly, and it's as if my brain was not clear, and it's such a strange feeling. And we go on. I said, hey, I don't know, how shall I do that, to go over to the restaurant? She said, do you feel weak? I said, no, but it's just wobbly. It's like, it's as if I couldn't manage. And she had tears in her eyes, because she looked at me and she said, you are walking normal, Christine. You have a clear, normal walking. And I didn't realize, you know, I felt a change, but I didn't realize my walking was totally different. And this was, I went up to my room after, and I opened the curtains, I put the light on so I had a reflection in the window, and I walked like 20 times, you know, to have the proof. You know, I was like, no, this can't be. And I walked, and the next morning when I woke up, the first thing I did, I walked again, you know, to see, is it really true? And it's true. And I can write with my hand again. I could write a lot of notes today into my book, which I didn't do anymore. When I had to write, you know, it took me a long time to write something down. Yeah, there's some kind of stiff, and there's not much strength in it, but this also improved this week. It's unbelievable. And I know I'm going to go on, you know, and here, every meditation, I had the feeling, more healing, you know. Sometimes it's on my heart level, sometimes it's physical that I'm conscious about, or it's that I feel so free.